what makes me qualified to talk about all of this with you guys. So I have been in an accounting industry for over 35 years. I am what we call a serial entrepreneur. I've owned several businesses, some that have failed. So if you tell me that you're going to start a business that's never going to fail, I'm going to tell you you're absolutely wrong. There's always businesses that fail. Actually, there's a high percentage of businesses that fail, and they're due to several things. It could be from economy, it could be from poor management, it could be from so many different things. But in all honesty, most of the ones that I had in the beginning failed because of poor management because I didn't understand the skills that I now have. And, so because of that, it's made me able to be able to help other people because what do they say? Sometimes you have to make mistakes to be able to learn. Additionally, one of my businesses was a super profitable business. I brought it to a national company from a local company, sold it in 2019, and in the process, did a lot of things that most people don't do with the business, which is basically go through the Shark Tank situation, understand a lot more about my business because I had business advisors and I had a CFO that helped me with my business to help move it to the next level. Hello, Ash. How are you? Guys, would you please put your information into the chat, any questions that you have in the chat so that I can go ahead and answer them for you. And also, if you guys want to go ahead and put your links to your businesses in here so the people that are on the call can actually follow you. So, what are we going to talk about today? So, first is why do businesses fail? Most of them are because of hitting factors they don't understand, meaning like they don't understand where their money's going, how it's coming in, where you need to tighten the reins, loosen the reins, and then believe it or not, one of the biggest things that people do is they can't let go. They want to just be in touch of everything with their business instead of understanding delegation. So that's actually a huge thing that people tend to forget about. So I know me in my business of going moving forward, one of the hardest things I had to learn to do was to delegate because as a natural person that likes to be in control of things and as a fixer, I wanted to learn how to just control everything. But once I learned how to delegate and understand to let that control out to other people, my business absolutely started to grow, all of my businesses. And they're going to learn about machine versus a job, the critical differences, and why it is important to understand the differences so that you can move forward. The sources of money. There's three key sources of money, and you need those in order to sustain growth. If you don't have both, all three of them healthy, you are not going to grow. And then how to gain control over your time and your money by transforming your business into a well oiled money making machine. Now, I have to tell you guys, I am not going to be your end all be all to make your business perfect. These are just tools to help you so that you can help with your business. One of the things as a CFO that I have actually hear from a lot of my clients is I wish I had learned some of this stuff even before I talked to you so that I could have worked things out on my own a little bit and then helped you, have you help me tweak it. So that's what I'm hoping this does for you. So this is going to last approximately 45 minutes. At the end, I'll have 15 minutes for a lot of questions. They do have an area that you can put in your questions so that I can answer them for you. Please submit any questions you have through the chat. And then look out for an email after this for it is recorded that you guys can access it after the fact, and you'll have your contact information so that if you guys want to go ahead and book an appointment with me to go over your finances. Why do most businesses fail? The reasons are diverse, and most businesses don't succeed. I had said that in the beginning. Most businesses don't succeed. And it's actually very sad because I've seen some amazing ideas for businesses and amazing things that people have done. And because they're just not understanding the management process of it, their businesses fail. This is the business failure statistics. This is kind of crazy if you really look at it, right? So 1 year has a 20%, the second year, 35, and the fifth year, 50%. Statistics say if you can make it past your first 5 years of business, you can succeed. So that's why even if you're a new business, it is really important to understand where your financials are coming from, how they're moving your business forward, and how to continue that trajectory to make it past the 5 years so that your business actually can succeed. And they're typically really common pitfalls. What are the impacts? Okay, guys, this is where stuff really starts kicking in. Wasted time, wasted time. Remember I told you delegation, wasting your time on things that you can delegate. I tell my clients, make a list, right? These are the things that I like to do and that I'm good at. These are the things that I don't like to do and that I'm not good at. All the stuff that's on the don't like to do and not good at, delegate them. Pay for it if you have to. Find the money. The money being found to pay them will come back because now you can focus on the growth. You can focus on bringing that stuff in. Hey, Carl, how are you? So you can focus on what is supposed to be important, which is working on your business, not in your business. Delegation, wasted time, emotional distress. So everybody thinks, "Oh, I'm gonna become a business owner. I'm gonna be so stress-free. I'm gonna have all this time in the world." What is it they say? "I quit a 40-hour job to work a 24-hour job for myself." Absolutely true. You never put down being a business owner. I don't care how many times people will say, "That's not true. That's not true." It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. So, the way that I've always looked at it is like this. So yes, you're 24 hours thinking, but try and put it into that 8-hour day as much as possible so that extra time period of 16 hours in the day, you can actually focus on other things. So how many times I tell the people that work for me, family and everything comes first because if you don't have self-care and other things happening in your world, you will not have a successful business. It just you can't do it. You burn out. Financial loss, business failure also can cause serious financial losses. If anybody has ever lost a business, so I had a business that I closed in 2000. I don't remember when I closed this business. 2006 was a stucco company in Florida and we closed owing a lot of money out. I wound up paying it slowly because I don't like to owe people money, but there was a huge loss there because just money that you put into the businesses, maybe money that you owe out to people. And that, for me, it was the economy. I don't know if you guys remember, it was the big construction bust of 2005. Between 2005 2008, it was the real estate construction bust. I was in the middle of that real estate construction bust. So it was beyond my control. However, that financial loss is huge sometimes. Loss of control. So sometimes businesses fail and they say this says often, but I think it's more half and half because their lack of control and they feel the helplessness. That's because sometimes holding on too tight can actually squeeze the life out of something. What's that song from the 70s go? And one of you guys are going to throw this in here, and I know that, and something tells me it's going to be Carl, that says, hold on loosely, but don't let go. You need to do that with your business as well. You need to understand what's happening with your business, but you have to let go a little bit and understand that you can't have complete control everything. You can't control what you can't control. Reasons for business failure. Lack of money. Lack of money. Business require money to operate. Funds help cover expenses, invest in growth, and manage unforeseen challenges. With access to money, a business can overcome obstacles, stay afloat, ultimately survive. Financial stability is the key. So this is one of the things I hear from my clients as well. They're like, "Well, I'm debt free." That's great that your business is debt free, but how's your cash flow doing? Because it is 38 special. Carl, you're right. You're right. 38 special. So yes, your business can be debt free and that's wonderful. But how's your cash flow going? Are you struggling to figure out how you're going to pay your bills because you have a low cash flow because you're debt free? Sometimes in certain businesses, in certain situations, it's okay to take that liability on to loosen up that cash flow. So money solves business problems. Marketing. Money allows you to do more marketing, hire marketing professionals. Money allows you to better market your products to customers. So marketing is one of the keys things that you need to do for your business. Marketing, actually, your marketing should always be a percentage of what your business is. So if you are putting just a tiny bit of money into marketing, your revenue is not going to grow. It's going to stay stagnant. You want to grow, whether it be network marketing, social media marketing, professional marketing, meaning somebody that does webinars. So I do webinars now for marketing for a service company. So I see Ash is on here. Ash does IT. I know Ash does BNI. But think about the social media marketing that you could do for local businesses. LinkedIn is huge for businesses. You have Kiki ads Thrifted, which is actually a um, consignment store for all um, community thrift stores. And the great part about it is she gives to the community too on top of it. So if you guys reach out to Kiki, I just love her mission and her way she does things in life. So Kiki does a ton of social media marketing. That social media marketing gets her in more stuff to bring into her store to sell, as well as more money coming in so that she can keep her business afloat and still give to the things that she wants to give to, which I know she actually helps out a lot of the homeless in the Lowell area. Management, money allows you to get better management, hire people to delegate so that you can actually work on your business instead of in your business. The down market, we all know that there's been a huge down market in a lot of businesses. The finances of the United States has actually been a little iffy in the last 4 years, a little bit longer even, but definitely in the last 4 years. COVID was not a help, as well as just we were in inflation, all different things happening. So the market has been a down market. However, sometimes in a down market, that's when you can actually multiply on the things that are down market. And that is done through marketing, understanding where people's actual pain points are for marketing to make your business move. Seasonal businesses. So money helps with seasonal business. Coming in helps you get through the seasonal downflow when you're only in working. This works a lot for like landscape construction companies that don't work during the winter time. So they need money to get through their winter expenses. Three sources of money. Debt is a great way to get funding, but it's important to consider the terms and the interest rates. Always check out your interest rates. So I do know that SBA loans have been higher. I believe that they're lowering. And believe it or not, there are people on this call right now that I know deal with that. So if you put your information in here, Mark, people can reach out to you regarding finances for their personal life, considering how it affects their business. Owner investments. This is something as well. Your own sweat equity is another form of investment, but a lot of people put money in. I have clients that unfortunately have even mortgaged their homes. I don't agree with that to start their businesses. Money from the business is a sustainable way to grow, but it requires a strong understanding of your cash flow and profitability. That's what I said to you before. Taking on liability for cash flow is good, but you have to understand how that's going to affect it. You're welcome, Mark. Debt sources. So these are the debts that bring into your business. Everybody has at least one, if not more, of these debt sources. One of them is credit cards. They are quick access to money, high interest rates. You want to make sure you use them carefully, pay them off quickly. I recommend actually points cards so that you're paying them off every month. You're getting those points. Those points can either be brought back as cash onto the card or used for other things. A lot of times they have rewards that can be used for a lot of other things. Bank loans. Bank loans can offer a lower interest rate and longer repayment terms. However, they do require good credit and a strong business plan. If you do not have a business plan, I absolutely recommend it is a working document that your business should work off of at all times. Vendors, vendors that you have that you buy or you use for product, for services. The biggest thing for vendors is to negotiate terms. Due on receipts can kill a business. Instead, if you can get on terms, get on 30, 60 days, different terms to help your business out for that cash flow liability. Three sources of money. Owner investments is what you put in, including your personal savings, debt sources, and then the business from your money from your business. We've talked about the owner investment, debt source. Let's talk about the money from your business. This is the money that your business generates through sales, and it is the lifeblood of your business. Everybody thinks profit is, it's cash flow. There's revenue, profit, cash flow. All three work together. If all three are not healthy, your business is not healthy. And again, we're going to talk about those three. Revenue is the money that the business makes from selling its products and services. Profit is the money that remains after deducting the expenses and the costs of business doing revenue. And cash flow is the movement of cash flow in and out of the business over time. This includes owner disbursements, owner draws. People forget about that. They look at the bottom and they go, "Oh, here's my profit, but I don't have money in the bank." You don't have money in the bank because you have liabilities, you have draws, you have other things. So your cash flow is just as important as that profit and that revenue. Revenue calculation. This is how you actually figure out what is your revenue. Revenue is the total amount of money you receive. That's the money that when you are billing your clients or they're paying you or your customers, however you acknowledge those clients, whether they're customers, clients, jobs, everybody has a different way that they word them. Then you have your operating expenses. These are the cost of running your business, salaries, rent, utilities, marketing, software, office supplies, all that are operating expenses. You have your taxes. You do have to pay your taxes. I know we hate doing it, but we have to. I don't want to have to bail people out of jail. And then debt repayments. These are the payments that you owe to the lenders for loans that you've taken out. So let's talk about cash flow. Cash flow, super important. The cash in the cash flow represents all the money coming in, what we've talked about before. The net cash flow is the difference between cash inflow and the outflow. This tells you how much money is left over after you cover your actual expenses. The cash out is the money including all of the expenses like payroll, supplies that cash out. And the positive cash flow is what you want to have to make your business thrive. The best way to look at cash flow is that's the money that belongs to you as an owner. So you want that cash flow to be higher so that you have the money as an owner, right? You can have a positive profit, but if that cash flow isn't showing for you as an owner, you're not a positive business. You have to get that cash flow up there. So the importance of making the money is to beat the survival rate. You don't get good at making money, or you need to get good at making money. I'm sorry, business make money from three sources: debt, owner investments, and businesses. This is just a summary of what we just went over. Debt is the most common way of sourcing funds for businesses. However, you need to make sure you understand that it is a liability and to check your interest rates, but it can help tremendously with cash flow for somebody that really needs a good influx of cash flow to grow their business. Owner investments are a good way, but not everybody has access to that. I started my business with $300. Not even this business. I started my national company that I sold in 2019 for $300. I kept going, why can't I grow? Why can't I grow? I finally got funding there. And by the way, there's a lot of grants available for different businesses within the state of New Hampshire. And there's a lot of other places that I can give referrals to for you for looking for funding for grants. I know that's if you're in New Hampshire. If you're not in New Hampshire, I can actually help and try and maybe source some things area for you to reach out to. Money from the business is the most important, though, most important part of funding because it's the only thing that's going to keep you sustainable and profitable in the long run. Debt sustainability. Debt can be a valuable tool for business. It allows you to invest in assets and projects that may give you a ROI, a return on investment. If you're not tracking your return on investment, that's no good. You need to know, are the money that you're spending, is it coming back to your company? Are you making money on it? If you're just throwing money out the door and you don't know if it's coming back to you, then you really need to reevaluate. Is this working for me? Is this happening? Marketing, you don't see for 10 times between 3 to 6 months. But after that 3 to 6 months, if you're not seeing a return on it, then maybe you need to rethink your marketing and how you're doing it. However, relying heavily on debt is not sustainable, meaning like you don't want to always rely on borrowing money to pay off debt. Okay. That's when you can get into situations where you're bankruptcy, jeopardizing businesses. You need to grow on revenue. So, what are the risks? Financial vulnerability, limited growth potential because you're sustaining stuff, and loss of control, meaning you're taking all these borrowing. It's okay to borrow for small amounts to grow, but you need to keep that controlled, limited, and make sure it is actually having an ROI for why you borrowed it in the first place. So businesses, this is a couple of scenarios for business reliance. Scenario one, Business with potential for high future profits, like pharmaceutical or tech startups, often need to rely on debt or investment, which is true because a lot of times they have to get a lot of softwares, other things. And I know that Ash can actually attest to this because he does IT and software. They're focused on long term growth, but sometimes they're not immediately profitable. And it says that for most of those, but I'm going to tell you a lot of companies hit that, right? But the majority of business fall into the category they're not sustainable, cannot generate sufficient revenue to cover their expenses. These businesses often struggle to make ends meet and rely on outside funding to stay afloat. Bottom line for business success, your business must make money to be successful. And the most important is a metric to measure your success. You need to know a way to look at your stuff on a monthly basis and saying, is this working? Is this not working? Where is this falling? Where is this not falling? Think of your business like a machine that makes money. This is where we're talking about the machine stuff. The machine needs to run efficiently to generate profits. Let's look at it like a car. Okay. If you have a car, and cars need oil to lubricate the engine, right? They lubricate the engine, they lubricate the pistons. And this is where you're going to understand that I really don't know a lot about cars, but I know just enough to know this analogy. If you are low on oil and your engine is struggling and struggling and struggling, that's that machine that's struggling, struggling. The oil is your money. But all of a sudden you get that money, your money starts moving, your stuff starts running. It's not just the money, it's understanding where things are going. Now that money is moving, 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 and then you need to make it the growth and profit in order to stay afloat. So we all have a desire to make money, right? Who doesn't want to make money? I love this picture with the money just coming out of the machine. I wish it was dollar bills instead of coins, but hey, give us what we need to do with it, right? Show me the money. That's right, Kiki. Show me the money. I say that every morning. I actually have a mantra that I say to myself every morning. Today will be a great day. Today I will learn more about my cash flow. Today I will make sure that I have money coming in. Today I will make sure that I am a good person in general. Literally, I say that every day to myself. And that's what I focus on. The machine's purpose. A money making machine is designed to generate income, just like any machine that has a function. You have to identify those dysfunctions. Do you know how to look at your business and see where those dysfunctions are happening? Do you need where you have those deficits that need to be fixed? Then, after you diagnose those issues, do you know how to take those steps to fix them? Because you have to repair them in order to restore the functionality, meaning like you need to know that they're repaired. Because after the repairs, you have optimized machine gives peak performance. So we're going to use a washing machine as an example. I used a car last time. The purpose is to wash clothes. It's made up of multiple parts like the drum, the pump, the controls. If it fails at doing what it's supposed to do, there's a reason why, right? Nobody wants to go around with clothes that are dirty. You have to find out why. Why isn't your washing machine working? The reason you find out why is to fix it. Your machine is get back to doing what it's supposed to do, wash clothes. You want to do that with your business too. You want to know why and fix it. If your machine isn't working properly, there's always a reason why. This could be anything from a clogged drain to a broken belt. Finding and fixing the problems is essential to making the machine function as it should. Of course, unless you don't want it to work, then you don't have to fix it. Then you just throw it away. And that's when you close your business. So imagine as your business is the machine, it's made up of parts. You need to find the problem, fix it, and then get back on track. If the business machine isn't making enough money or as much as you would like, you need to find the issues. And again, do you know how to figure that out? Do you know where those issues are the deficits? And again, this is the benefits of making the money. You can fuel growth, have more opportunities, hiring talent individuals to boost your team capabilities. If you don't have that money coming in, you can't get the talented people to help work for you. I know, Kiki, you work the store by yourself. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to take some time off now and then and have somebody else in the store? That would be nice for you to be able to hire an employee. That's a growth that you need to work towards. That's a goal. Expansion strategies, unlock new opportunities with strategic investments, expand your reach by growing new locations, acquiring equipment, acquiring resources that you need. You need money to do that, right? Money literally controls so many things in our world, business and personal. And then financial stability. It's nice to know you can go to bed at night and go, "Ah, my business is okay. I don't have to stress. I can go to Johnny's course. I can go to out to dinner with my other half and enjoy the night and not stress. Is this coming in? Is that coming in? Is that done? Is this done?" Financial stability helps with so much of that. And enjoying the fruits of your labor, taking time off to recharge, reward yourself, invest. So self-care is everything, everything. I tell my clients all the time, with what we do, with not just my clients, but I actually tell the people that work for me because always like, "I'm so worried I didn't get that done." We're not curing cancer, you know? I'm sure whatever you're doing, well, I say that, but I have a doctor on here that I know. You take so listen, this doesn't go towards you. Those of you who are doing things that save people's lives, you're not saving lives. You don't have to stress. Try and relax your brain at night. Enjoy what's in front of you because you know what? You could always get work done, but you can't always remake memories. So business parts, just like a washing machine, everything has essential parts that contribute to the success. And again, every one of these parts has something that's really important, whether it be staff, equipment, inventory. It plays a crucial role in the success of your business. Consequences of not making money. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but I just want to let you guys know how important it is. Business failure because you don't have the revenue. Stalled growth, you don't have the revenue to grow. Owner stress because they're stressed, wondering what's going to happen. How's this going to happen? Am I do I have enough money to hire somebody new? Am I able to do this? Am I able to do that? What is my goal to get to those points? The owner stress is one of the key ones. Stress is one of the largest killers largest killers in the United States. It's been proven. It's actually one of the highest factors that cause heart attacks and many other things that are the killers within the United States. Ashley, trust me, it can do and save lives. Yes, IT does save lives. I agree. I've been there. Uh, reason number one, dependence on success. Owners feel that they have to succeed. And that's a huge like responsibility. That's something that you just take on. And that's as a business owner, that's what you do. And then family reliance. How many of you have families that rely on your business being a success? Because if you're not a success, they don't have what they need or want, and they have the enjoyments that they want to have in life, roof over their heads, even. Plus, a lot of times people have invested considerable time, energy, money and making failure, like, that's, like, one of the biggest fears. I know in one of my business when my main one that went under, the one that I lost the most money on, which was the stucco company, when that went under, I remember thinking, "People are gonna look at me like, 'Wow, what a failure you are.'" And then after I realized it was a huge learning experience for me, but you still can't take that failure feel away, right? Even though it was, gosh, 20 years ago, it's still 20 years ago. I remember that fear from 20 years ago. Another one is you don't wanna go back to a job. A lot of times people have been feel like they're unemployable because they can't work for other people. It's really hard when you work for yourself to go work for other people. I tried it. When I sold my business in 2019, I went and worked for somebody who I still actually do work for. But I like having my own hours. I like knowing that if I want to take time with my family, I can take time with my family. I want to know that if I feel like just working in my pajamas for the day, I can work in my pajamas for the day. So being a business owner does absolutely have its perks when you're not working for someone else. The other is, I don't want to lose my freedom. Again, that's on the freedom of running your own business, the freedom of saying, my son has something going on today. I want to be able to take the time to be with them. Oh, my family wants to do a vacation. I don't have to worry if I have time off. I don't have to worry if I have PTO. I can just take that time and schedule within my system of what I want to do. And then here's the problem though. Most people are owning a job and not a business because they are essentially trading their time for money just like an employee. How many of you are doing that? I'd love to see in the chat how many of you feel that you are trading your time and more of an employee for your business than the business working for you. I'd be curious to see how many people feel that way. Now imagine you have a machine instead of a job. You control everything about it. You control what's happening. You control all the things about it. Kiki said she does for sure. Yeah, especially when you're a new business owner. I know you've only been in business for what, a year and a half now? As a year and a half business owner with something what you do, especially, you definitely feel like you're tied to your business. I get it. A lot of people feel tied to their business. Um, this is where, understanding all the different components and parts to your business absolutely can help you move past that. No time to enjoy. Many entrepreneurs work long hours, take it all on by themselves. They don't delegate. They're on a call, even working outside of business hours. And it's funny because Ash will tell you when I first started this business, my bookkeeping business, I didn't delegate at first because I was afraid to. I was afraid to delegate. And Ash was one of my clients, and I would send him emails, gosh, sometimes 10, 11 o'clock at night because I was working. And then one day I was like, why am I doing this? I need to just delegate. I hired people to work for me. And amazingly, not only did I have that time back, but my business is growing. Yes, it's hard to delegate. And it is hard to delegate. It's hard to say, I'm going to trust someone to get something done that I have a specific way that I do it. I think the biggest thing that I had to learn was just because it's not my way doesn't mean it's the wrong way. And I think that's kind of the hard thing to understand as a business owner because it's like a child to you. It's like your baby and you want it to be done exactly how you want it done. But sometimes it's just the ending result and not exactly the way you've always done it. And as a parent to a special needs child, sometimes because you do this as with your children, you enable them to be independent onto you because you don't give that independence to that child, that business, to be able to move forward and be successful. Do we don't want to enable. I had to learn that the hard way with my special needs son. Not to enable him, let him be independent. Let him understand that it's okay to be successful on his own, but giving all the tools that I needed to delegate it down but watch it from above and make sure everything was working right. So focusing on day-to-day tasks, limit your business. Focusing on those things. Remember I said to you, things you like to do and you're good at. Things you don't like to do and you're not good at. Get rid of this stuff. Get rid of this stuff. Yes. Yes, Kiki, it is so hard. It is so hard and it's tough to let go. But sometimes letting go is the most freeing thing that you can have because then you go, wow, I could have done that before and I would have done this. And then all of a sudden you just really want to do it. You just really want to let go and really grow and really delegate because you understand just delegating just a little bit at a time. And you don't have to do the whole thing at once. Just delegating a little bit at a time helps bring it forward. This is the desire for control. They crave flexibility and freedom. Then they wanna be in control of your earnings, significant motivator for entrepreneurs, give them the potential to earn more. But that's when you're a business owner, staying in there, understanding that this is what you want, but understanding this is how you can have it only by understanding how your business works as a machine, not a job. The loss of control, working long hours, financial strain because there was reduced profits, because your time is worth money as well. And then the emotional burden. And again, like I said, this is the self care. You need to have self care in your business. So there's a lot of skilled craft startups. This all talks about the different things that people start up. So many business owners start their business because they have a unique talent. Like they're in the HVAC, they worked for dentistry, marketing, culinary. It's something that they knew. Kiki started her business because it was something her mother did. And I know this from talking to her. It was something her mother did, and it just always meant so much to her. Ash was in the industry for a very long time, and that's what fueled him. Mark, I know, went to school and excelled in school in financials, and that's what excelled him. Carl was in a business that was similar to this and just wanted to be his own thing as well. And these are just people that have commented on here. I know there are others on the call, but these are just things that I know that held them why they wanted to do their business. However, if you focus on just the craft part of it, it becomes a job. So you have to structure. So Instead, you structure an employee environment that's solely responsible for you, only the aspects of your business. So, self employment, unlike a typical job, there's no guarantee paycheck, nothing like that. So, one of the reasons you have to go from having it as a craft, a job, to being the owner who delegates. So, this is where we rely on skills. When business owners are not equipped with business skills, they rely on their existing skills. If you do not have those other business skills, like understanding where your deficits are, understanding where things are, it can actually halt your business. It can stop your business. It can slow your business, and it comes like sludge. They spend most of their time doing what they know best, but not focusing on the business needs. Delegate. Business neglect can lead to business functions like sales, marketing, finance, and stuff being let go because you can't be an expert in everything. You just can't. You can't know everything. Let me explain this. Let me reiterate that because I'm somebody that knows a lot of different areas. You can know things, but it's okay to not do them. Just because you know how to do it doesn't mean you should do it. Businesses may struggle to grow and succeed in the long run. You want to focus on what you can make to grow your business. So the most common struggles are getting clients, making sales, optimizing pricing, acquiring necessary assets, strategic expansion, marketing ROI, super big one, financial understanding, and effective employee management are the top common struggles for businesses. The business is wearing, the owner wears all the hats. So it's hard because they struggle. They focus on their craft instead of what they should be doing. They take on multiple roles and it leads to inefficiency. Running a business is like a job, but you don't want to treat it like a job. You need to treat it like a business, not a job, like a machine. More income statistics. In fact, 86.3 of all business owners make less than 100 a year in income. How many can raise their hand and say that you're making less than $100,000 in your business as a self-employed business owner? But meanwhile, you're in charge of how much money you make. Give me a comment in that chat if you're one of those people. Isn't that crazy that 86.3? A lot of businesses, the employees that work for them make more than the owner. How crazy is that? And you know why? It's because they don't know where those deficits are to move it forward. So you get the worst of both worlds. You have no steady paycheck, you have the lack of control, unsatisfied outcome because of all that that's happening. You're not getting that money that you need to support your family, which makes you go, should I just get a job? But then you lose all that freedom, you lose the things of the reasons you went into business. Getting a job is not always the answer. Finding out where those deficits are is the answer. So you're gonna spend countless hours and all this, and you just struggle, you struggle. What is the solution? Owning a business, seeing your efforts pay off, is turn your job into a money-making machine. Build that machine. Shift your mindset, understanding, treating it like a machine, not a job. Making sure the parts in your machine are well oiled, they're at peak performance, making sure your role is to make sure the parts are running smoothly, not always being the one that runs those parts. The purpose of the money making machine, understand what is your purpose? What is the business's purpose? Your purpose is to make that machine run. The business's purpose is to make the money. They work hand in hand, but if you don't make them work together, it's not going to work. Understanding how that happens. You want to take out money for personal use. You want to use the money to grow your value of your business. Some people build their businesses to sell. That's very common. Build your business to sell. You can't sell a business that's reliant on the owner only. You have to have a self sufficient business. And this again explains about the different things for the benefits of making money. I'm trying to tie this up so we can have time for questions. Financial security, business growth, community impact. And I think we have hit the last of it. So, how do you guys find that? Yes, exit strategy, Mark. Are you building it to pass it on? Or you're building it to grow. And by the way, when you have those exit strategies in your business, you also need that in your personal life. And that's where Mark comes in. So, I actually tell a lot of my clients, you should meet with someone like Mark. And I do refer to Mark. Mark is my go to person because he understands where is that exit strategy going to be for your business What is it going to be? And how do you prepare now for that outside of the business? So, one of the ways that we do is I offer financial assessments for your business to find where those deficits are, show where your deficits are, and understanding how can we fix those deficits. And then from there, that's what a CFO does. I do CFO advisory services, showing you where those deficits are. It's a great way for you to understand, is my business moving? How do I get it to move? How can it be a machine instead of a job? I'd love to see what questions we have. Do I have any questions in here? It's so hard. I want people to represent my business well. I want them to treat everyone with the utmost respect. Yes. So, Kiki, you are in a situation that does make it hard for you because you deal with a lot of people within the community that are on a different world, meaning they different represent different situations within their world. And so for you, yeah, it's hard to find somebody that will handle things the way you do, but that's when you set up a procedure saying, this is the type of person that I want to work for me so that I can delegate what I'm doing. So one of the things that we have is I do have an offer that you can go ahead and book a meeting with me so that I can give you a free financial assessment. It should be showing on your screens. And I'd love to do a financial assessment with you, or if you know somebody that could use a financial assessment to see how their business is doing, where are their deficits, what could they do to grow? I would love to get that for you. I already have one going for Ash with his business, which by the way is already doing wonderful, but I am looking at it just to make sure that we're on the right page and right on thing. Um, how does one hire without money? Should I consider a loan? That depends. If I think the first thing that you would need to do is see where is your money coming in? How is it going out? Where is it that you can tweak things without taking a loan? But then if you can get a loan, yes, sometimes it is possible that it is more appropriate to get a loan and pull some liability into the business. But the first thing would be Kiki is to look at your business and understanding where those deficits are. You are very welcome. I am excited to have done this webinar with you guys today. And again, if you need any questions that you have regarding your bookkeeping, which by the way, your books need to be in order for your financial assessment to happen. We do bookkeeping as well, CFO services. I'd be more than happy to look at your stuff for you and see what we can do for you. Please reach out for a free financial assessment and also an assessment to see how your books are, to see if maybe you need help with that as well. And even if you just have questions about your business, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always willing to help people. I love empowering people to succeed, and sometimes that's just helping with an easy question that they may have.